Coming up on WUFT's First at 5, what books some parents are trying to ban from your local library.
And severe weather is heading our way. The UF weather team is timing out when north central Florida will be impacted by thunderstorms and strong winds.
Plus, responding to a call to save an unlikely drowning victim. How first responders from multiple agencies were able to work together to bring a trapped horse to safety. First at 5 starts right now.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Book bans have been a hot-button issue for Florida parents, and we're learning more about the most challenged books. This is WFT's First at 5. I'm Charlize Ramos.
And I'm Alex Land. Florida has the most challenged books of any state at over 2,000. WUFT's Kirsten Maselka is live in the studio with how local parents responded about those numbers.
The number of books targeted rose 65% in 2023, the highest numbers ever recorded by the American Library Association. I met with ALA's Office of Intellectual Freedom Director to find out why. Florida challenged over 2,000 book titles in the past year, more than any other state. These numbers are higher than the American Library Association has ever recorded.
Unlike the past, where we would see a parent raise a concern about a book with a librarian or a teacher, we're now seeing organized advocacy groups go to school boards and library boards.
Parent groups like these are popping up all over Florida. According to the ALA, the top 5 titles being challenged include LGBTQIA+ content. However, ALA Office for Intellectual Freedom Director Derrah Caldwell-Stone says banning these books is an infringement on citizens' rights.
There may be books that you don't want your child to read in the library, but they're there for another family who are making different choices about how to raise their children.
Ocala parent Randall A. Brown says even if the ban took place, he believes it wouldn't make a difference.
While their interest is for taking the books off the ship, you ain't banning this. You're not banning this. You're not banning that. And so just because you took the books off the ship, every book that's on the shelf is in there.
Caldwell-Stone says parents should decide for themselves, but not without doing their research.
Question the very grounds for removing them, because often claims are made about these books that ignore their literary value.
But for now, the books in question will stay on the shelves. ALA officials say they will continue to support librarians who face backlash from parents on this issue. Live in the studio, Kirsten Maselka, WUFT News.
Taking a live look over I-75 at Paynes Prairie, we are seeing clear skies and sun. There are no clouds in the skies, but this might not last long. Now take a look over at our UF radar. Severe thunderstorms are moving through the Panhandle right now, where there is a tornado watch until 9 this evening. Those storms are headed our way overnight and they will impact our area tomorrow. That front will make for a stormy and windy Thursday. UF forecaster Derrah is here in the weather studio timing out when we will begin to see the impacts from these storms.
Look how many watches and warnings we have in effect right now. All of that red on radar are those severe storms that have caused damages like this. Here's some wind damage that was in Elton, Louisiana earlier today, shared with our National Weather Service partners there. And here is on Highway 10 in Louisiana. Some winds blew down these power lines. Now, closer to home, we are not seeing these conditions just yet. Mostly sunny skies, but we are seeing that cloud cover increase. Still pretty warm out though. We're at 81 degrees right now and we're starting to feel those wind gusts as well. Wind speeds are out of the south-southeast, bringing in that warmer air at around 15 to 20 miles per hour. We'll continue to see that cloud cover build in tonight. I'll walk you through the timing of this rain on Futurecast coming up.
2 Alachua County schools are transitioning to a year-round schedule. Governor Ron DeSantis signed a year-round program into law last year. House Bill 891 requires several Florida counties to select test schools for the program. The test schools in Alachua County are Metcalf and Rawlings Elementary. Leaders say these schools were chosen because of lower student attendance. School board members hope that this plan will increase student engagement and test scores.
This is a change that needs to be made and noticed community-wide, not just to the current parent.
The Marion County School Board approved the plan for Wyomina Park Elementary for the upcoming school year.
The Florida Highway Patrol is investigating what caused a deadly crash in Columbia County last night. Troopers say a woman was struck by a Chevy pickup traveling south on US 441. An FHP report says the victim was a 61-year-old woman from Georgia.
Bradley, this Gators softball team is no joke. They've yet to lose an SEC series this season, and they're coming off an incredible performance over LSU this past weekend. But today, they welcome in the USF Bulls. Florida comes into this game with a 34-6 record, and they're ranked 9th in the country. Florida's offense has been the team's strongest point. Their scoring offense ranks 3rd in the nation, bringing in over 8 runs per game. In the final game of the series against LSU on Monday, the Gators were down 6-1 at the bottom of the 6th inning. A late-game comeback and a walk-off in the 8th gave the Gators an impressive ranked series win. Tonight's matchup with USF will give the Gators a great opportunity to prepare for Missouri on the road this upcoming weekend. First pitch for today's game against the Bulls is slated for just around 30 minutes from now. Reporting live from KDC Scholl Presley Stadium, Daniel Haviv, WUFT Sports.
Thanks, Daniel. Meanwhile, Florida baseball made history last night, and not in the good way. The Gators were absolutely decimated by Florida State as the Noles scored 19 runs, the most they've scored against the Gators since 2008. Florida allowed 19 hits to the Noles, with 12 of them coming in the first 2 innings. The Noles have had Florida's number this year, scoring 45 total runs in 3 matchups. With the win, FSU baseball has swept Florida for the first time in 22 years. Things are not looking good for the Orange and Blue, but they'll have a chance to get back on track when they host South Carolina for a 3-game series this weekend. Local high school baseball was in full swing last night, and it is continuing into today. Looking back at last night, Columbia beat Santa Fe 9-7 on the road. Meanwhile, Buchholz beat the Villages Charter 9-5, and apparently FSU wasn't the only team pouring it on last night, as PK Young went into Bronson and put up 21 runs on the Eagles. Looking ahead to today, Hawthorne is currently taking on St. Francis at home. Meanwhile, the Eastside Rams will travel to Newberry later today for a 6 p.m. game, and Buchholz will host Gainesville at 7 p.m. The UF Women's Club basketball team has been on an upwards track since being founded in 2018. After dealing with major setbacks such as COVID-19, the club has now hit their current peak ahead of their biggest accomplishment yet. WUFT's Nick Diaz is live in the studio with a preview of the club's championship matchup.
The UF Women's Club basketball team is a growing part of the Gator community. After scrimmaging against fellow Florida school UCF, they gear up for their biggest tournament of the season.
Gator women's basketball may be over, but the Gator Women's Club basketball team is most certainly not. The ladies will compete in their first ever National Intramural Recreational Sports Association Championship this weekend at UW-Madison. Going from 5 to 24 members in just 4 years is no joke, and head coach Calvin Schumacher understands the importance of being able to qualify for a tournament like this.
So this is a new thing for us, and it's instrumental for our club because our club is growing. To get that exposure, getting them to an event like this where they can compete with the best of the best is awesome for our club and a huge step in the right direction.
Scrimmages against other top Florida schools, such as the one that took place just last weekend against UCF, gives Schumacher a better feel for what he wants to do with his team.
Nationals is really important, so a scrimmage like this prepares us greatly to know what we need to work on. Today, we played really well, but we definitely need to work on boxing out, rebounding, switching on screens, talking on screens, so we see those things in a game like this.
Making it to the national championship was a goal in itself, and qualifying only sets the bar higher for the women's club team. Looking to make a name for themselves, this team is locked in ahead of their trip to Wisconsin.
We lost in semis in both the regional tournaments, but I think we've learned from those. Our team's gotten better, more chemistry, and I think everybody's really excited to travel up there.
The NERSA Championship tips off this Friday, with playoffs taking place on Saturday. Live in the studio, Nick Diaz, WUFT Sports.
Thanks, Nick. Meanwhile, we are just 3 days away from our first look at the 2024 Florida football team. This Saturday, Florida will take part in the Orange and Blue scrimmage at the Swamp. Fans will have the chance to see faces old and new as the team showcases the work they have put in this spring. Kickoff is scheduled for 1 p.m. at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. One last note, the 2024 Masters officially tees off tomorrow at Augusta. Former Gator Camilo Villegas will battle it out against 87 other golfers as they compete for the coveted green jacket. And guys, I don't know about you, but I can speak for myself. I am quite the golfer.
I can't say the same, but for those who do like golf, what's the weather going to look like for them this weekend?
So after the rain moves through tomorrow, we are looking at those temperatures rebounding, and so do those weather conditions. Mostly sunny skies to finish out the week and into next week. Notice how we start to spark a warming trend after Sunday, and then we're back near 90s next week.
Thanks for joining us. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
But your North Central Florida news is always on at WUFT.org and all of our social media platforms. Have a good night.